Alright, it's been a while, but we are back. Hi, what's up, everyone? This is, of course, the voice of Hot Dogs, and we are here again for another installment of The Sims 4 Survivor Oasis. It is day 27 here on the Sandstone Tribe, and all of our remaining castaways are coming back from the previous tribal council. And we are now down to our final 5. So things are getting pretty intense. We have 3 girls left versus 2 guys. And of course, Vesepia was sadly the last one to go home in the previous tribal council. She had won the first 2 immunity challenges since the tribe merged as one. And as soon as the week came where she didn't win, she was sent packing. So the competition wins are definitely crucial at this point, and we are getting so close to the end. Now, again, like all the episodes that are coming up, we will be having an immunity competition and a tribal council in tonight's episode. Not to mention that tonight's immunity competition is the most grueling, intense competition we've had so far. So stay tuned for that. Right now, it looks as though most of the tribe mates are kind of winding down and getting ready for the day coming up. We saw that Bella and Tina were kind of dealing with the mice upstairs while Fabio is working out in the gym. Although he is not on his A game, it looks like he is a bit tired. He's kind of falling and tripping all over the place. So he does eventually get off of there, and it's probably for his own benefit. We see that Nina is fire dancing outside with Rich, and Fabio soon kind of joins them by wood carving right nearby. Bella has now come to join Rich. The 2 of them are now elders, which is kind of crazy. It's like they're 2 old people. They have this long history with each other. However, it's only been 27 days, but time here on Oasis really does drag, and it feels like it has been a lot longer than just a month. While they're doing that, Nina has now come inside, and it's her turn to get in her morning workout. None of them have really slept too much. Or really fully rested. I think they're all kind of anxious and ready for this kind of start wrapping up. I mean, they are down in numbers. They are out of options of who they can talk to, who all they can interact with. And we see that Tina is done dealing with these mice. She has finally decided to start setting up traps. So she sets a trap in the one that's kind of in the upstairs lounge, and then sets another one that's right by the upstairs bedroom. It has been preventing everyone to use the bathroom, to use the bedroom. They really have to be at their low in those areas for them to actually use the bed or use the toilet, because they always get distracted by these mice. So hopefully these traps do some work, and it'll kind of make it a little bit better for these islanders while we get closer and closer to the end. She does eventually make her way into the bathroom, where she starts going through trash in the bathroom, looking for parts, looking for pieces. We are completely out of immunity idols. As you know, hidden immunity idols are done and gone, so she will not be finding that, but potentially she can find some repair pieces and kind of fix up the surroundings. Maybe kind of improve the lifestyle a little bit. We see everyone else is kind of wandering around. I gotta say, it's been really difficult playing the Sims 4 recently, just with the huge amount of glitches that are going on. You'll notice in this and then a lot of the projects I have coming up that it really does get in the way of enjoying the game, and I really hope that there's some kind of huge update coming up soon, but who really knows. Everyone is kind of relaxing. We see that Tina actually went downstairs and started trying to learn how to play the guitar that they have made, and Fabio has gone upstairs and is relaxing by the hookah, while Richard used the bathroom. He first heads downstairs, and then as soon as he hears Tina's guitar playing, he immediately heads right back up the ladder and goes back upstairs to kind of get away from that racket. Meanwhile, Nina is still outside fire dancing as the sun fully sets here on day 27. Bella has actually come to join Tina and watch her play the guitar, and she's actually pretty happy and cheering her on, surprisingly. I've noticed that a lot of the Sims recently have begun booing, as you can see. She seemed to be in a good mood, and then as it dragged on, her mood quickly went away, and now she's begun booing Tina. Meanwhile, Fabio is still on his own upstairs by the hookah, and Nina has come to finally join him, and they're up there really relaxing. I mean, these two have gone through a lot in the past 27 days, and I'm not too sure where they're going to stand going forward. I mean, are they going to be a couple? Are they going to be nothing? Are they just friends? I personally think it's mainly going in that direction. I think there was some obvious flirtation, some obvious interest in the beginning when they first joined the Red Tribe. But since then, since the tension of all the other girls, I think Fabio has made a very big point that he is a solo kind of guy. And I don't really see him getting with any of the girls from here on out in the series, honestly. Bella has also come and joined the two of the lovebirds at the hookah. And she is trying to relax up there as well, but she seems to be complaining about the mice, even though they're not really visible at this point. I think the mice traps are actually working. We see that Richard has actually placed a mouse trap in the bathroom to kind of get rid of those mice. So slowly things are getting better. And I thought he was actually going to start cleaning up, but all he did was pick up the trash and move it 3 feet before placing it on the ground. So that's pretty much what I do in my house, honestly. I have like garbage bags in every room, and I'm like, I start cleaning up, and then I leave it there, and I'm like, oh well, I'll throw that away, I'll get to it, then I don't. So I'm a big procrastinator, and I feel like even under this kind of situation, I would understand procrastinating even though you have like nothing else to do. I feel like everyone kind of understands that now that they've been through quarantine. I feel like everyone can kind of relate more to people on Survivor or Big Brother or these kind of shows where you're stuck somewhere without any outside interaction. And so I would totally, if I was on Survivor and I was at the tribe, you would not see me cleaning, or if I was at the campsite, you would not see me cleaning, you would not see me doing anything like working out, anything like that. I would be in bed. And that's why I would get voted out, most likely. We see that Nina has eventually gotten up and left the conversation, and now it is just Fabio and Bella smoking hookah upstairs before Fabio eventually leaves as well. And he heads downstairs while Richard makes his way to that trash pile he made just a bit ago. And of course, he starts playing in the trash as the girls take turns using the bathroom. Great way to end the night, I think, for Richard is by coming home and just playing in the trash like a little pig. We love to see it. Now, it is in the tribe's best interest if they all kind of wind down and head to bed pretty early tonight, as the immunity competition we have set up for tomorrow is the biggest and baddest one we've had yet. Things are about to get crazy, as it is going to last multiple days. They're going to have to be good at multiple skills, and it's going to get intense. So all of these meals, all of these last minute workouts, and of course this last sleep that they're going to have are going to be crucial coming up in the next competition. So we see that Tina and Fabio are having one last meal before they head to bed. It looks as though Nina is kind of getting ready in the bathroom while Rich is outside kind of warming up and having a fire, maybe just relaxing. I think some people find it meditative to be by a fire. I find it nauseating. I don't know why fires make me so nauseous. So that would not be me. Nina is like kind of talking to herself in the mirror, kind of hyping herself up for tomorrow, which that would be me. That's what I would be doing for sure before she ends up going straight to bed. Fabio's in bed, Tina's in bed, Rich is in bed, and or actually that's Tina and Bella in bed. Rich is actually asleep by the fire. He decides to sleep out there under the stars, and we are going to go ahead and head on over to the challenge area and get this competition started. Alright, so like I said before, this is going to be the most grueling, longest, most challenging competition we have had so far on Sim Survivor Oasis, and it is going to be completed in multiple parts. This competition is actually called Obstacle Skill Course, and all of the skills you've been honing in on, been training for, are all going to be mushed up into one obstacle course that we have set up for you guys. So you must complete each phase in order to win the whole thing. So as we see, phase 1 is a graffiti phase. You have to complete one artwork each. Phase 2 is woodworking. So you have to complete one knife block to a great skill point. And then phase 3, we have beekeeping. You have to bond with the bees successfully. Phase 4 is doing laundry. You have to wash and hang up a set of clothes. And then we have phase 5, which is upstairs in the shipping container. We have a kitchen where you must cook a grand meal and eat all of it. Once you have completed all of those phases, you may move on to phase 6, which is biking and fishing. You will hop on a bike and ride over to one of 3 of these fishing ports we have over here by the river. Now you must catch 1 fish at each of these ports, so that's 3 fishes in total. Once you have done all of that and you come back, you will win this competition. So like I said, this thing is crazy, it is long, and it is going to be grueling, not only for the competitors, but for myself, and probably you as well. I was not fully expecting this to be as crazy as it was. I don't know, like I was like, I want to do an obstacle skill course. I had the idea in my head, and I was like, well, what have I not competed with, like what have we not tested them on? So I kind of laid out a few of them, and I thought this would go a lot quicker than it actually did. This competition goes on for days for these sims. They're outside grueling, competing for days on end just to get to final 4. So it's pretty intense, and then after this we still have one more round to get to final 3. So these guys are really fighting as we get closer and closer to the end. Everyone is working pretty evenly so far on their graffiti. We see that the girls have kind of gone with a white layer first technique, while the guys have just gone straight ahead and started spray painting their design on the dirt. So it's kind of interesting that the girls did it one way. We see that actually Tina has started to get really tired. I think she's actually getting overheated from the sun or uncomfortable in some way. So she was actually unable to paint. And normally I would just move them on to another phase. You'll see that eventually I will move one person to a second phase when they're unable to complete one, but they might be able to do another. However, because of her condition, because she was uncomfortable, had a headache, was hot, whatever it was, she couldn't do anything. So we have Tina actually kind of in timeout right now. She's kind of just resting until she's able to actually go ahead and start working on one of the 6 tasks. Actually, she has to do the 5 before she's able to move on to task 6, but whatever. We see that eventually she does start feeling somewhat better, at least better enough to start woodworking. So she has actually moved on to phase 2, and she's going to start working on her knife block. However, she since phase 1 is still incomplete, she will have to go back whenever she's able to and complete that as well. So just because they move on to a second phase does not mean that one phase is complete. So far, no one has completed any of the phases. But it doesn't take too long until Tina is quitting phase 2 and going back to phase 1. It seems as though that she finished making a knife block, however, it was just scraps by the time she finished, and it was worthless. So that was just a waste of time, pretty much. That's all she's really doing right now, is just wasting her time. But she's back working on phase 1, trying to complete that. We'll see if she is able to. I don't know, it doesn't necessarily look like she's super far behind, but I'm guessing she probably is, right? Like, realistically. I don't really know, but again, she ends up being too tired as it's in direct sunlight. And actually, surprisingly, Fabio is too. They are both just really exhausted and burnt out from the sun. We are in the middle of summer here in Oasis Springs, so neither of them were able to move on to any of the 4 phases that were outside here in the sun. So they actually went ahead and skipped right on over to phase 5, where they are going to have to cook a grand feast. I think I made them all just cook a like chicken feast, and they have to cook a whole one and then eat the whole thing. And I think it serves 12 or something like that. So it's 12 full plates of food. Now, I think if this was real life, I don't necessarily think it's the best plan to skip phases 1 through 4 and go straight to 5 and fill yourself up on this food. But also maybe it is. Maybe it's good to get it over with and have it be digesting the whole time, instead of the variant. I don't really know. I would think you would have to use the bathroom at some point if you eat it all in the very beginning. We see that the 3 others competing, Bella, Nina, and Richard, are still just working hard on phase 1. The sun doesn't seem to be bothering them just as much, and both Fabio and Tina are putting their chickens into the oven. What do you guys think your strategy would be? I personally would just try to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Like, I'm very much like kind of neat and orderly in the way I like to do things. Not necessarily in how I keep up my house. My house is a complete disaster, but my brain, I like to keep organized. So I think that that's kind of the method I would try to do. Like, no matter how I was feeling, I would just try to go down the list of 1, 2, 3, and 4 or whatever. We actually see that both Tina and Fabio have now finished their meals, and they are going to have to eat that whole chicken. And it actually takes them so long. Like, just wait. It is surprising. I think that's probably a huge reason as to what drags this competition out, most likely. We see that Richard is actually getting pretty close to the end of his graffiti art, and he's actually placed perfectly in the shadows of a palm tree. Like, he has the ideal shade that no one else has, so that's a pretty nice advantage. And then we also see that both Nina and Bella have actually started painting the same exact painting. So I don't know if they're necessarily working together, but they really are side by side, kind of keeping up with each other. However, they are starting to have to use the bathroom, and there are no toilets out here in the competition area. So if they gotta go, they're going to have to pee themselves in order to go, basically. And I have a feeling that both Tina and Fabio are going to have to use the bathroom pretty soon too, after eating all of this food. So we see that Richard and Nina have both finished phase 1. It is complete, and they are both moving on to phase 2, woodworking. So if they both get these 2 done, then they will definitely be far into the lead, as both of them are in the lead right now. And then we actually see that Jenna surprisingly comes running through the competition area and actually starts going upstairs into the kitchen. I think it's kind of one of the only active doorways, so that's kind of the main reason she goes that way, to like knock on the door. And she just walks right on in and starts cooking in the kitchen. Meanwhile, Bella has finished up with her painting for phase 1, and she really has to use the bathroom, but she is still fighting on, and she actually goes ahead and moves on to phase 3, which is laundry, while both Richard and Nina still continue to work on their knife block making. Knife block making. As we see, Bella is picking up all the laundry that's scattered around. Each of them will have to pick up 5 piles of laundry, bring it over to the bucket, scrub it clean, and then hang it out to dry. However, it doesn't have to stay out to dry in order for them to finish it. As soon as they are finished hanging it up, they are finished with that phase. We see that Richard has finished his knife block, and he has to pee extremely bad as well, and Nina has actually wrapped hers up, but she seems to be kind of in the better position as everyone else. Her bladder seems to be doing okay. Richard moved on to phase 3, which was beekeeping, and he bonded with the bees perfectly, so now he has finished 3 in a row. So Richard is done with phase 1, 2, and 3, I believe, unless he's not done with phase 2. Let me check my notebook really quick. All right, so I do have an official notebook with like everything about this save file written down. And actually, Richard sadly failed phase 2. His knife block was in shambles as well, but he is still in the lead, completing both phase 1 and 3. But he will have to go back to phase 2 at some point and make another knife block. We see that Jenna has actually came in and made a cake, and not only is she stopping by, but Natalie also has come onto the property, walked right onto the kitchen, and is also making another cake. I will not be forcing any of the castaways to eat these cakes. They are just here doing that, and I can't really get rid of them. We see that both Bella and Richard have both peed themselves, and Richard is kind of too miserable to really do any of the phases for a little bit. He's just kind of standing there, not really able to do all that much. Meanwhile, Bella has gone ahead and hung up her laundry, meaning she has completed both phase 1 and phase 4. So she is in the lead as well with Richard. Both of them have completed 2 out of the 5 that they can compete on right now. Sorry if this is kind of confusing. We see that Richard is back to phase 2, working on that knife block once again. Nina has finished up with her laundry and is moving on to phase 5 as Bella is over there trying to bond with bees. Both Tina and Fabio are still just continuously eating their meals. It looks as though Tina has just finished her 4th plate and Fabio is on to his 5th, while Nina is just now starting cooking on that meal. And I think Nina has either 2 or 3 challenges completed as well. It's really hard for me to keep track. This challenge was intense and crazy, as you can tell. It is non-stop battling. And I don't know how Tina and Fabio are feeling about this decision of cooking the food first. I think they both seem extremely miserable. And when the castaways first got here, it was early morning. It was around 7 or 8 a.m. Right when I was going to be talking about something random, we see that there's actually a fire. Nina has lit the oven on fire while cooking her grand meal. Thankfully, both Tina and Fabio were prepared, and they put it out right away, right as everyone has gone and ran up in there. It actually has kind of caused a bit of a commotion because everyone has now quit their tasks. So, Richard has now stopped working on his knife block and stuff like that. Everyone's going to have to go back and start working on what they originally were. So, it kind of caused a bit of a delay in everyone's games and a little bit of an advantage for the people that are in this room. They don't have to leave and walk all the way across the lot to go back to what they were doing. But we'll see if Nina is able to cook this meal successfully this time. Anyway, what I was saying before about the sun was that when we first got here, the sun, it was kind of like midday, almost lunchtime, and now we see that the sun is fully setting. And this competition, I can guarantee you, is going to go through the night. It is extreme and it's going to be exhausting. We see that Richard has just now completed phase 2 once again. I have to go back to the trusty notebook, however, to make sure he has completed it officially. All right, and according to my notebook, it looks as though Richard has officially completed both phase 1, 2, and 3, and he is on to phase 4, which is laundry. And after that he goes, as Bella and him are the only ones remaining outside, as Bella is now working on her woodworking. The 3 castaways inside are still at it, going strong. We see that Nina is still cooking her meal, while Fabio is moving on to his 7th plate, and Nina is moving on to what looks like her 6th or 7th plate as well. Bella has finished up with her woodworking and has moved on to phase 5 as she has completed all of the outdoor phases. And this is the last one that she has remaining. And she has gone on to start cooking as well. Hopefully she doesn't light the oven on fire. And hopefully both Tina and Fabio can wrap up their eating as well if they've been doing this all day long. Unfortunately, Nina has use the bathroom, and so has Fabio. In the kitchen, looks like Tina has as well, so now the kitchen is covered in urine. perfectly sanitary and makes the eating experience that much better, in my opinion. It has put Fabio in a mood as there's kind of hearts floating around him. So he kind of loves this environment as well. And Nina has finished up her meal, and she has now started with her 12 plates of food as Richard complains about the smell of himself as he does the laundry. He has finished officially scrubbing up all the laundry, and now he just has to hang it up, and he is finished with that task. And he is now finished with all the ones outside and is heading up to the kitchen to start on the food. Now, all of our castaways, all 5 of them, are working in the kitchen to cook this grand meal and to eat it all up. Hopefully Tina and Fabio are done with this soon, as this space is definitely getting very crowded and very stinky.
Neeb.
Alright, so Richard is the last one to finish cooking, and now everyone is done cooking their grand meals, and they are all sitting around this stinky, filthy table, urine-soaked clothes, dripping floor, all eating 12 plates each of not that greatly cooked turkey. As we see with the stink, bugs are starting to invade the place. Fabio is getting chased around by bugs. Everyone is filthy. Everyone is complaining about the smell. I feel like it would be hard to eat this food, no matter how good it tasted, if all you're doing is continuously smelling horrible smells the whole time. I have gone ahead and added some extra chairs, however, so all of them can sit down. That should help a little bit, and they're all kind of talking and communicating, and this is going to help with the vote that comes on later. I would say later tonight, but we'll see just how many more days this competition continues to take. Everyone is starting to really feel the toll of this competition, especially now that they've been doing it for like 12, 16 hours now, however long it's been. Fabio is the first to pass out. I personally would not have wanted to pass out in here particularly, because he probably just fell right into a puddle of piss, so that's fun. But everyone else is slowly approaching that same level of exhaustion. All of them are tired. All of them are full. All of them are disgusted. And this competition just doesn't get easier. No matter what phase you're on, no matter if you're in the lead, this is definitely the craziest competition. As we see, Richard actually makes the smart decision in going outside to pass out. That way you kind of get that night breeze. It's kind of cool out there. You don't have to smell piss and you're not falling all over it. Nina takes that advice and does the same. So both of them kind of get some snooze on outside while the other ones continue on eating and pushing themselves into the lead. We see that Tina has finally finished phase 5, and she is able to go on and start working on all these other phases that she skipped. She has not finished like any of the other ones, so she is going to have to go back and work really hard now with that full stomach. Thankfully, however, the sun is not out and beating down on her, and that should help her, and she won't be so uncomfortable so quickly. We see that she immediately goes to phase 3 and starts trying to beekeep. However, the bees do not seem to be in the mood, and they attack her, meaning that she will have to do that once again. Instead, she just decides to go on to phase 1, where she started yesterday. As the sun is actually rising on this new day, she's finally back at phase 1, trying to complete that once again. We see that Richard is actually eating his food outside, watching over the competition, watching the sun rise and trying to see how Tina is doing. I personally would be eating out there just to get away from how disgusting the kitchen is. And we see that Fabio has finished up with phase 5 as well, and he also skipped a ton of phases yesterday. He spent pretty much the entire day inside the kitchen eating his meals, and so he has moved on to phase 3. He bonded with the bees pretty quickly, and it seemed to be working out for him, so that is complete. Meanwhile, the only two left in the kitchen right now are Nina and Bella, as Richard sits outside. Hopefully he remembers to come back inside and start grabbing more. Looks like he is. I was worried that he would kind of forget out there. As we see, the table is completely covered in plates. There's so many plates. All of them are stinking. Everyone in here just looks so miserable, but hopefully all of this will be worth it if they are able to win and go on to the final four. We see that Fabio has finished up with phase 3 and is moving on to phase 4, which was laundry. He takes down whoever put that up previously, and he puts that little pile down. I go ahead, I put the 4 extra piles on the ground, and he starts picking those up that I laid down and starts working on that. We see that Tina is still working on phase 1, but it's not going that great either today. She still has to pee. She's peeing herself. She seems to have a headache. She seems to be lightheaded. The sun is now rising, and I'm worried that she is going to be stuck in the same trap that she got stuck in yesterday, where she's just too uncomfortable to do any of the stuff outside. But we see that Fabio is not having that problem, and he is going right in on scrubbing his new laundry and trying to get all these phases complete so he can go on and hop on a bike and start finishing up this competition. All right, so we have Fabio wrapping up with the laundry phase. He has finished that up and is moving on back to phase 1 with Tina as they both finish up their graffiti. And thankfully, they're both kind of hidden away in the shade, so hopefully the sun will not be a huge factor for the two of them. Unfortunately for Bella upstairs in the kitchen, she has passed out inside in a pile of her own pee, potentially. And as we can see, Fabio is not too happy about the way he smells, but he is happy that he has wrapped up phase 1 and is moving on to phase 2, which is the woodworking. And actually, Tina has also finished up her painting and is moving on to phase 2 as well. She has tried to do phase 2 before, and failed, so she went ahead and skipped that one, I guess, and is moving on to the beekeeping phase once again, which she has also failed at before. Thankfully, it seems that she was able to bond with the bees this time successfully, so that way she has finished up with that phase and is able to move on to the next. We see that Richard, Bella, and Nina are still continuously working on their turkey dinners upstairs. I think it is going to take them some time. We saw that it took Tina and Fabio almost a whole day. So I think potentially it was best for them to go ahead and get that over with, as now they're able to really start wrapping up everything else. We see Tina has moved on to the laundry phase. She has removed the pile of laundry and is picking up the rest that I have placed. And she's going to go ahead and start washing those up as Fabio continues working on his knife block over there. I think he might actually be finishing that up pretty soon here. And it is right around lunchtime, so the sun is right in the center of the sky, beating down on the two of them outside. I bet Nina, Bella, and Richard are happy they're kind of in the shade of the kitchen. And we see that Fabio has finished up all 1 through 5 phases and is moving on to phase 6. Now, as a little reminder, phase 6 is a fishing phase where you have to get on a bike and bike to 3 different fishing ports where you have to catch a fish at each port. So you have to catch 3 fish for this to be over with. So he is at port 1. And he is going to start fishing up there. Hopefully the fish aren't too afraid of his pungent smell, and that they'll still come up to the shore and be able to be caught by him. We see that Richard is moving on and grabbing another plate of food as they continuously dig into that upstairs. And we see that Tina is still scrubbing us some clothes as Nina has officially wrapped up her phase 5 cooking phase and has moved over to phase 3 beekeeping. And it seems as though her bonding with the bees has gone successfully as Tina is wrapping up and starting to hang up her laundry. Unfortunately for Fabio, he is not having too much luck when it comes to fishing so far, and it seems as though this port was too advanced for him. So he's going to be moving on to port 2 and testing his luck there. Now again, it works just as these phases do. Just because you fail at it and you have to move on does not mean that it's over. He will have to go back to that port he was at and fish there once again. We see that Nina, after peeing herself and bonding with bees, she has successfully finished phases 1 through 5 and is also biking over and is starting her fishing journey. We see that Fabio and Nina both meet up at the second port where they are beginning to fish there together. Richard has just now finished eating his grand meal, and Bella is slowly wrapping up hers. She is so far in last place, I'm pretty sure, in this competition. We see that Richard has gone back to phase 2 and is working again on his knife block. I thought he had finished it. Apparently not, as he is there once again. Bella may be in last place with Richard potentially, and to think that they were actually in the lead yesterday is pretty crazy. She has gone downstairs to try to beekeep and bond with the bees, but obviously that is not going too well, and she's going to have to retry that once again. We see that Tina is now having to woodwork for the third time, I think, overall. So woodworking is just not Tina's forte. Apparently she has not been practicing that enough. And Bella has not been bonding with bees well enough either, as they are either just plain aggravated or they are not liking her, or I don't know, but they are stinging her repeatedly time and time again. It seems as though Fabio may have caught a fish here at the second port and is moving on to another, as Nina is still fishing and she has caught one as well. So both of them seem to have one fish down and are going to be moving on to another port with 2 more fish to go, as the 2 of them are in the lead, potentially winning the competition. Richard has finished up with his woodworking finally once and for all, and he has finished all of his phases 1 through 5 and is getting on a bike now and is starting his fishing journey, as Bella works her way over to the woodworking table where her and Tina continue to work on this knife block. The 2 of them really should have been practicing this at camp. There are a few castaways that continuously work on woodworking all the time, and I mean, when I do think back, I rarely ever see the 2 of those girls working on it, so it doesn't fully surprise me. As we see, Richard makes his way with Nina over to port 3 where Fabio is as well. All of them have met up to fish together, and Richard actually got there so fast he just went through the rocks. He didn't even bother going around it. Surprisingly, Tina has officially finished all of her phases 1 through 5. It took her long enough. I don't know if I ever thought she would actually get here. As we can see, she does have to pee, so that is going to slow her down on the bike. But she is moving on to phase 6, where she is going to have to fish. Bella has finished up with her woodworking, but she is busy peeing herself before she is able to leave and hop on a bike. She looks exhausted. Her body looks bloated. She looks old and tired and dirty. And apparently that knife block she was trying to make wasn't good enough, and she's going to have to start over once again. We see that Fabio has caught his second fish, and it seems as though Nina and Richard did not have that same amount of luck, and neither of them caught one, and both of them will be moving on to another port in hopes of catching their second fish. We see a bunch of different townies walking around. We have Eliza walking around, as she seems to have escaped jury, and we have a few other randos fishing nearby. We see that Tina, Nina, and Fabio have all met up at port 1 to fish, where Tina is busy catching boxes and seaweed, but no fish, sadly. Richard wraps up at port 3. I don't think he caught a fish, unfortunately, and he has moved on to port number 2, where he is going to start fishing with a random townie. Hopefully he doesn't interact too much with the outside world. Bella has finally finished up phases 1 through 5 and is finally hopping on a bike and is able to start fishing. And as she makes her way over there to join everyone else, she is unfortunately in last place. However, everyone is still really close together, and since you only have to catch 3 fish, someone could easily hop on up to first place and win this out of nowhere. So it's all fair game to everyone so far. Unfortunately for Jeff, he was left alone at the challenge area, and as the sun begins to set, the bats come out and they have attacked his freshly Botox face. We see that Fabio has taken some time out of fishing to put on a face mask to kind of like clean his hair up a little bit, clean himself up. A lot of the Sims have actually taken time out of the competition to do that. As you see, Tina has kind of cleaned herself up. Nina has cleaned herself up. Richard cleaned himself up. Bella, however, has not, and that's why she is over here busy catching fish. That fish was huge that she caught. If this was a competition of how much money you could get from catching fish, I think that would have definitely helped her. However, it is quantity, not quality. But she has caught 1 fish and she is moving on to another port to catch another. Could Bella actually make her way from last place to first place? I don't know, that would be pretty crazy. We see that Fabio doesn't seem to be having too much luck here, and he is going to be moving on to another port. However, Nina back there has caught another fish. So that's going to be her second fish. She only needs 1 more to catch. Richard doesn't seem to have caught another fish, and he is moving on to another port to try his luck somewhere else. Everyone is now working on their fish. They're all biking around, and I love that as the sun begins to fully set here on what I think is day 39. I will have to check once they all get back to camp. How they all have their kind of like spotlights on. All you kind of see is them just driving around aimlessly back and forth. It's all very chaotic, and anyone could really win this competition. What have you guys thought about this competition so far? What phase do you think you would have been best at? I guess I probably would have been best at either phase 1 with the painting, maybe phase 4 with the laundry, or phase 5. I don't know about the cooking, the grand meal part, but I could definitely binge eat. I'm a binge eater, and I could probably get that done pretty quick. We see that all the girls have kind of gathered together at what I think is port number 3, and they're all fishing in unison together, but it doesn't seem like it's giving them too much luck, as both Bella and Tina, I didn't really see catch anything. And unfortunately, Nina thought she was going to be catching her 3rd and final fish, but it seems as though she was grabbing at nothing. However, we sadly missed it on camera. We didn't get it, but looking through everyone's inventories, one of these castaways have finally received 3 fish from each of the ports, and he is making his way back to the camp. If you can spot it down below, we see that Fabio is actually racing back to Jeff in order to him to hand in his painting, his beekeeping badge, his clean laundry, his full belly, his knife block, and now 3 of the fish. Fabio has been working extremely hard on his skills throughout the series. We saw that he's been pretty dominant in competitions, especially since Vesepia has left. He has won the past 2, and he is really killing it. And he's always working on his skills at the campsite, so I'm honestly not surprised that he was the one to make it to Jeff first. And Fabio wins this individual immunity competition, and he is actually going to pick his 2 favorite camp members, and that's actually going to be Tina and Nina. And the 3 of them are going to be able to enjoy some massages when they get back to camp and kind of relax after this long, grueling competition. What do you guys think about Fabio winning this individual immunity competition? It's actually pretty crazy. He's been killing the competitions recently, and I'm honestly not too surprised when you think about this being an obstacle skill course. Of course, Fabio is going to win. He's always practicing those skill points, and I told you guys that that would come in handy. Alright, but it is officially the next morning, and the sun is rising here on day 29 on the Sandstone Tribe. We are getting so close to the finale. All the castaways have been here for almost a month now, which is kind of insane to think about. We see that Fabio is kind of just stretching, getting his morning started in the bathroom, while Nina is getting her morning started in the gym. working out, trying to get her fitness in tip-top shape. Fabio, however, makes his way outside where he begins to play some basketball outside. I think everyone else is in bed, kind of lazily lounging around. I'm sure that after, 29 days here in Oasis, that the elements, the hunger, the rats, the challenges are probably really getting to all of them physically. We see that Fabio is ripped from all of the working out. His muscles are popping. However, people like Tina and Richard and Bella are now like becoming elders, and they're all getting pretty exhausted. However, because Fabio picked Nina and Tina to receive massages and stuff with him, it actually made Nina younger. So she was able to go from being an elder to being back to an adult. And we will see those massages and everything in the next episode. However, we are going to have to go straight ahead into Tribal Council because, like we've been doing in all the past few episodes, reaching the finale, there is not only immunity competition in this episode, there is also a tribal council. So as we know, based on that competition we just had, Fabio is safe tonight and he will not be going home, and he is officially in the final four. However, Richard, Nina, Bella, and Tina are all up for grabs and all could be sent to jury. And any of them are eligible to be going home. Now, you know the rules. All of them will vote individually, one by one, for the one person they want to leave. And whoever gets the most votes will be going home. Now, recently I have been forgetting to bring in the jury until there is a tie or a reason for them to be there. So I have remembered this time. So let's go ahead and bring in the jury. We have, of course, Jenna, Eliza, Vesepia, and Brian. We have seen Jenna recently as she made her way into the competition we had a little bit ago to bake a cake. Hopefully that didn't influence her vote in any way. As we see, Richard is first up to vote. Let's see who he votes for.
Sarpava! Woo!
All right, so Richard has voted for Nina. Let's see if Bella votes the same way, as they have a little love connection and she is next up to vote.
Flish? Hando.
All right, and Bella has followed her love Richard's vote and has also voted for Nina, making that 2 votes for Nina. Now it is going to be the girl of the hour, Nina's turn to vote. Let's see if she returns the favor to either Richard or Bella.
Shaby Booly Galan.
All right, so based off her relationship statuses, Nina has voted for Richard, making it 2 votes for Nina, 1 vote for Richard. It's now Fabio's turn to vote, the safe man of tonight's tribal council. Let's see if he sides with Bella and Richard and votes for Nina, or if he goes ahead and votes for Richard himself. Let's see.
Habaray! Subao habaray! Noom
All right, so Fabio has gone and voted for Richard, making it 2 votes Richard, 2 votes Nina. It is all down to Tina. Is she going to go ahead and break the tie, or is she going to vote for someone else and leave the tie up to be broken by the jury? Let's find out.
Doba Harfin.
All right, we knew that Tina was good friends with Nina, and that vote was not going to happen. But she has gone ahead and voted for Richard, making it a vote of 3 votes Richard, 2 votes Nina. Unfortunately, that does mean Richard Hatch, the first winner of Survivor, you are eliminated and going to be getting 5th place in Survivor Oasis. Unfortunately, you're going to have to go ahead and grab your torch, bring it up here, and put that out as you're going to be heading off to jury. Leaving us down to our final 4 of Fabio, Nina, Bella, and Tina. Fabio is now the only guy left as Richard heads on out of here. What do you guys think about Fabio being the sole male left here on the tribe? We saw in the beginning of the season men were going home week after week after week, so I'm honestly surprised that it's not an all-female Final 5 or Final 4, and that both Richard and Fabio were able to make it so far into the competition, let alone Fabio be the sole male left. And then we have Fabio and Fabio's 3 angels, Nina, Tina, and Bella. What do you guys think about the 3 of them being there? We have Tina being a previous player with Fabio. And then we have Nina and Bella being 2 townies. So it's still 2 townies versus 2 winners. So that twist is still going strong. So far, it hasn't played a huge advantage to either of them, obviously. But who knows? We'll see if they side with each other, if we have 2 winners make it to the end or whatnot. We only have 2 episodes left in the series, you guys. Can you believe it? In the next episode, we will have our last individual immunity competition and our last tribal council vote, where we will find out who makes it to the final 3. And then in the last episode, that final 3 will become a final 2, and our jury will cast their votes to decide who will become the winner of Sims 4 Survivor Oasis. I'm so sorry that this video took so long to come out. I've been procrastinating it. It was long, it was daunting, it was challenging. However, it is here, so let me know what all you guys think in the comments down below. Make sure to subscribe, hit the bell, and like, and follow me on Twitter to let you know when the next video will be uploaded. And I'll see you guys soon. Bye.